Welcome to the 78th Locarno Film Festival and to the post-screening discussion of Sehnsucht in Sangerhausen. It is a pleasure to have here with us the director, writer and editor Julian Radlmaier, the actors Maral Keshavat and Clara Schwinning, and the producer Kirill Krasowski. I thought to start we could ask everyone in the audience and here on the couch to raise their hand if they had never heard of Sangerhausen before. Well, I think in 90 minutes we really discovered this place very intimately, so thank you for this introduction. Wondering if we could start by discussing the concept of Sehnsucht, which is in the original title of the film. In English, the word translates to longing, but in Germany it has quite a historical and cultural specificity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated concept, Sehnsucht, because it has, it's not maybe what you first think it is. So I think it's basically something that you long for something, but you don't really know what it is. It's like a vague feeling, maybe, you know. It's a, and I think that's why Novalis, the poet that also appears in the film, has an image of a blue flower for it, because it's something you can't really grasp. You know, it's more a call maybe for another life, maybe, or something else that's beyond your day-to-day experience. But so. I don't also have a clear definition. I think maybe the film is more has different articulations of what Sehnsucht can be, from a romantic love to a more political maybe Sehnsucht.
And Clara and Maral, I was wondering if that concept of Sehnsucht informed you in terms of understanding your characters and in conceiving your performances.
Yes, I would say my longing or Sehnsucht is to Mariam, actually. The relationship we had, and my character Neda left Iran without her, and she's like dreaming and searching for her, about her, see her everywhere. I would say yes, Mariam is Neda's Sehnsucht, or Iran, actually. It pictures Iran.
I think for Ursula, it's there was the Sehnsucht to kind of break out, but I also like that she doesn't manage somehow to break out, and I think that's so she has to hold it in herself, and she has a version maybe of herself that's going out of there, but she stays there, and I think that for me is the Sehnsucht.
And Julian, this film is not just a portrait of Sangerhausen, but by extension it's a portrait of Germany. And although this concept of Sehnsucht originates from Germany, do you recognize much of it today in Germany, or is this something you wish to recognize today?
I mean, the German Sehnsucht is also from the beginning maybe an ambivalent concept, you know. There's maybe also, even in Novalis, or the Romanticism is already sometimes tinted with nationalism or some Christian supremacist kind of ideas. So I don't know. I think the Sehnsucht here in this film is maybe at the end, at least for me, the image to which the film culminates is those four people dreaming together in this bus, and this is maybe just the Sehnsucht of a common world, let's say, that's less exploitative and less divided.
And Kirill, we were talking this afternoon about the humor in the film, and we were wondering whether it would translate to international audiences, and I think this premiere was a great demonstration that it absolutely does translate. And in that sense, this feels like quite an exceptional film in the German film landscape, not just because of the humor, but also the style, the irony. Would you agree, as a producer, that it's maybe an outlier in the German film landscape?
Yeah, absolutely. But you answered already with your question. So it's No, I mean that's so interesting because I'm pretty sure many people will find there are so many nuances and so many interesting details about different languages, different identities, different social Herkunft.
Social background.
Yeah. So that it's German, but it's also I think also very international. It's understandable, like this kind of unique art and like unique place where all that stories come together, where all the characters meet, and it's actually the world that doesn't exist somehow. So it's like a miracle, like a dream, like something which is real and not real at the same time. Very utopic, maybe version of reality, something like that. So something that you recognize and something that is new. So for me as a producer, it's a great experience. I have seen the film many times, and every time I discover so many details and so many nice, interesting things about cinema, about montage, music, acting.
Do we have any questions from the audience? If you raise your hand, we can get a microphone to you. Any hands? There's one here at the very front, first row. Here at the very front. Can you raise your hand again?
Thank you for this film. It was great. I just had a question about how you came to think of this specific place as a location for your film in Thüringen, this tiny place that, like, as we saw, nobody has ever heard of. Why was that the place that you chose as a landscape for the film?
I mean, it was really, it started with a mere coincidence that I had seen a picture of this town, and with the cityscape and this mountain pyramid-like spoil tip heap behind it, and I just found it interesting and thought, why not go there and see what else is? And I had Googled a bit, and it sounded okay. It's strange. The world's biggest rose collection is there, and used to be the city with the highest unemployment rate in Germany. Now it's also very right-wing territory, that area, so I went there and discovered just many different historical layers, odd details, like all this geological stuff, these strange faces in the wall, these prey birds flying around everywhere all the time. So it was a very rich and dense landscape altogether, and somehow the screenwriting was more like just condensing it even more maybe, and connecting some stuff that was already there.
There's a question here.
I have also a question about the location. Don't you be afraid that the fact that the people that we see from this Sangerhausen, from Sachsen-Anhalt, that are all a little bit dumb, that this cliché that Eastern Germany, they are a little bit back-minded, and you are a director from Western Germany. Don't you I don't say that it is, but I see the Gefahr.
Yes.
That it can be also sometimes be this interpretation.
No, totally. We were very much even like scared to step into this kind of problems, and so basically I think already because the main character of Ursula, who is like a working class character from there, is not at all the cliches. I think, doesn't represent it at all. So I think already by that thwarts like the common image of that region. And then also with the other people, we showed like we collaborated a lot with the people from there. So the small roles, a lot of the people were like people we met there on the streets, and with whom we had a relationship, and tried to to show them in a way. I mean, sometimes they're also funny, but I don't think they're ever stupid. I find them touching, actually, and we try to show them in a dignified way. And the only pure caricatures are maybe the two guys from my home region, Bavaria. the two naked guys there. I said, okay, the Bavarians there, I don't have to be too careful because that's where I'm from.
Do we have other questions from the audience? Here.
You were already talking about nationalism and stuff, so I was wondering what animated you to make such a movie with a high focus on German poetry and like the history and the stuff you worked into the movie.
I think the film, or what we try to do, is to show a very ambivalent also picture of that this landscape in the city and life there. So at the same, I think we tried. It was very important to us to show all the things that are going on now. This horrible shift to the right that we experience. We have our new Chancellor Friedrich Merz telling some lies on the radio where he says all immigrants get their teeth redone for free while Germans don't get appointments anymore. So this is the basic, the wars that are happening, and war crimes, and then this is the background, the emotional, the atmospheric background of the city, of the film. And then at the same time, I think we, as a filmmaker, I don't want to beat you even more, but more to find maybe small moments of beauty in a broken world or something like this. Yeah, that was very pathetic, but also something light and had to have a very ambivalent representation actually.
Other questions? I was wondering if you could talk about all three protagonists are women. Could you talk about the choice of making women characters?
Well, that maybe I don't know. Maybe that was like my previous films had rather like male characters as a protagonist, and I was interested to explore that more, especially because it adds another dimension to the social themes that I had already worked on before. I don't know, and I think, but then I was really dependent also on my great actresses that I think brought a lot to the roles, to the discussions we had, and to the work together. So I gave maybe a sketch that was then filled with life by them also.
Maybe Clara and Maral want to tell us a bit about this input that you've had?
For me, it was very important to really kind of feel this place. And to somehow think, okay, how does this character belong there? Because she's coming from there and she's telling a lot of facts about this place. So I really tried to get a connection to that place. I forgot the question.
I would say Neda is somebody I see in my life really often. All of my friends, most of them are students coming aboard to study and finding ways to stay and survive. And many in Germany, I would say, I don't know, are thousands of students, and they are facing challenges. For example, I am pretty sure I say I have only 18 months. Otherwise, I have to find a work or working place in my field. Otherwise, I have to leave the country. And I would say Neda is inside me. Although I was a child, not a child. I was 15 when I came to Germany, but it was also the same challenges and to learn the language and find your place. And it's yeah. What was actually the question?
Well, it was about the topic of representation,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but I think you answered it nicely. But maybe we can discuss this topic a little further, because it's not just women; it's different social backgrounds, social classes, it's immigrant background. I was wondering, obviously, the topic and the problematic of representation is very often discussed, so I'm sure you were very aware of it. How did you approach this dimension, and what was your awareness in that regard?
Yeah, so basically, first I think as the film is more about the meeting points, I'm interested in characters from very different backgrounds, like, or the points where their lives could intersect, and so necessarily I have to talk about people that are maybe don't have the same background as I have, but I think this is the great thing about working on a long term. Like you write, it's a long process. So you can also get to know people. You can be infused by their experiences and integrate that in the film. And then still, I try to. Everything that is in the film is like not like it's maybe social worlds with which I have had kind of direct contact. So I have a lot of Iranian friends. I live in Berlin, but we are surrounded by this. This is still like the near area around Berlin. So this is also a bit part of what we know. I have friends from there, where people on the team that come more or less from that region. So yeah, it's trying to build like connections also as me as a person. I try to understand things better in the working process, and also then maybe it's not about. I mean, it's important to me that the representation is right, but it doesn't claim also to be an auto representation of something. So it's about dialogues, and I'm going in a dialogue with different spheres myself.
I have a question here. Wait for the mic.
First, I would like to say thank you for your hilarious and wonderful film. I enjoyed very much. I have one trivial question. The two Bavarians, could you enlighten some words about them? What was their role in this, the naked ones?
I mean, a lot of the stuff is really, they again were like an objet trouvé or something, like a ready-made thing, because while I was researching, I thought that there's a naked hiking trail that goes very close to the city, so that was very tempting not to use it, and so yeah, I think the Bavarians, they would become Bavarians for the reason I explained already. I didn't want to make them East Germans because that's also such a cliche thing. But then I think they represent also, in the film, they represent some kind of toxic masculinity in a way, and some kind of masculine aggression that is at the same time through the way they appear. And also a bit like, okay, it's a bit ironic, of course, but I think also what was important to connect this kind of, it's also two sides of Germany, there's a bit this Bavarian Oktoberfest kind of masculinity, and then they sing Novalis, this strange blend of romanticism and German beer culture aggressiveness was something I found interesting as a collage. Because yes, this is what they sing is a Novalis adaptation by Schubert.
Do we have other questions?
Can I say one more thing? And the reason I found that was that actually the one guy is really a great. I found him first because he agreed to play this, and he has a great Bavarian, and he is a virtuoso on the accordion, and I thought, okay, we have to use that too. So a lot of ideas come just from like this, something shows up, and we try to integrate it in the film.
Show of hands for another question. Over here.
Well, thanks for your movie. It was really a pleasure. I have one question because due to the decision of the characters to be like wounded in the neck or in the arm or in the hand at the last part, I found it like pretty interesting, that part.
Yes, thank you. To know, well, that was just a small thing. Yes, that all those characters have something that's a bit broken, doesn't work quite well, and this is maybe a corporeal representation of that. But it gave them also. What I liked about it, it gave I think the. Okay, for you it was very late, but still, it gave you something to play with. This inhibition, also this. I think Neda has this kind of also something that can't really express itself and is kind of stuck in this broken arm, kind of nicely transformed that just in a bodily.
Yeah, and
thing.
actually, I'm left-handed, and we had a plaster on the right. No, actually the left one, and it was kind of challenging as well to play with the non-dominant hand, because it's just actually another movements and everything, and yeah, it's like all her violence or everything is just like in this cast somehow. Yeah.
And something that unites all your films, and we can see here very well, is that on the one hand they're informed by left politics, and on the other, this politics is treated through humor and irony. And I was wondering if you could discuss this motivation a bit.
I mean, I think this film is very different from the ones that I did before, that were like in a way more how do you say, like straightforward in this sense, and maybe outright satirical sometimes. And whereas here, I had more the like other things were more important, and then the humor and is something that comes additionally. But I think it's just, for me, comes very like when I write something, I can't write something too serious. So if it gets too serious, I immediately have the urge to add a joke, maybe, because when you're writing, you never know if it's like good or not, and if you think it's funny, then you have an idea. Okay, that, and the humor, I think, is just something, it's like when something is funny, I think it's always like two thoughts that clash together, or something unexpected happens, and like thinking gets propelled forward through humor. I think like a dramatic representation, at least for me, always lacks this a bit, that it gives a freedom, it opens up also to some more unknown territory, and it allows for a playfulness, and that I don't think it's just ironic in a sense of distance. I think it's not just about like keeping things away from yourself through irony, but more to make you even vulnerable in a way. For me, a joke is also always has, like, there's maybe jokes that you can be violent by trying to be funny, but I try to develop a humor that is more fragile maybe, and more human in this way.
And with this film, you address what is now a serious political crisis in Germany of the last few years, the rise of the extreme right and the Volkssolidarität, the collapse of the solidarity. Did you feel an urgency? Did the moment compel you to make this film?
Yes, very, very much so. Because I think, the atmosphere in the country is shifting to in a way that I don't like, and we feel, and especially my friends maybe that have a migration background, feel very much uncomfortable. It's not. It's not nice, this development, and I had a strong urge to talk about that in this film.
We have a question here in the front. Where's the microphone? Here at the very front. Raise your hand, please.
Hey, sorry, to your last point, how quickly were you able to get the film into production from the time you were writing?
Okay, do you remember? I think we maybe started the funding process in 2000. We shot last year, and it was written the year before, or we.
Yeah. It was
like
in year before. It was a project development, and then we were waiting for some money, and yeah, it was decided then to shoot in last August, actually. That was the main. We had the good luck, by the way, in Germany last year with weather, because this summer is like completely rainy. I don't know how many rainy days you had last year, but this year that wouldn't be possible because like it was so much rain. So no, it took just, it's like normal standard. I don't know, two years just from the first idea till. We were on the film set, and then the post-production was very fast. And we shot also on film, so that was also an interesting decision. Julian and Faras came up, and I was a bit afraid, to be honest, because sometimes you can't control this, and it's actually, I think Julian was very well prepared with this by shooting on film. That gave us kind of reduction, but also freedom in the way that we are just, produced a film with a very limited budget. So it's like for German standards, it's a very, very low budget film. So it's not a super financed movie, not at all.
We have time for one or two more questions if someone wants to join. Here in the very front.
I just wanted to ask about the film because that just came up. Was the decision to shoot on film a purely aesthetic decision, or were there other reasons why you wanted to do that?
I mean, yes, I think it was first of all a aesthetic decision because we thought that the sensuality of the 60mm film stock would fit well to the story. And then I don't know, I like this idea that you have limited material that you can't shoot, so that you have to be very concentrated. And it kind of like. It was strangely two opposite things happened. So on the one hand, we were much better prepared in terms of choreographies and camera movements. That was also something I wanted to explore more. My previous films had been kind of static, actually, and so here we wanted to have work on rhythm, and have this kind of poetic moments, maybe with the camera. And then so this had to be very well prepared. And on the other hand, we had this kind of. Okay, we don't have material, we go to the countryside and we hope just that the bird will fly through the image at the right moment. And somehow, if you do it with film and you really can't waste any second, then it works kind of strangely. Although this was funny, if I can say an anecdote, that was like all weird stuff happened also in Sangerhausen, I have to say. So the first day, because I'm a bit lying here, when we decided we want to shoot the birds, they were all gone suddenly, you know? They were always flying around everywhere we went, and now we went with Faras, with the cameraman, we went on a weekend, we had to carry everything, like it was very hot, and they just disappeared, you know? And we couldn't shoot one single bird in the whole day. And at the moment we get into the car, they're back everywhere. And then something very weird happened. I opened my laptop at home, and you know, I have a MacBook, and I had a pre-installed profile picture, like that I never changed. In my case, it was a basketball, and I had this basketball there for, I don't know, 6 years. And I opened my laptop, and suddenly the basketball had transformed into the face of an eagle, which was very, very scary. So I thought, okay, I don't know if that's connected with but yeah, there was. So the magic of cinema gets, I think, provoked by film material.
All right, thank you. So thank you for the discussion, and especially for the film, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you.